So we're back.
Back, Jacky Morn.
How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I actually was watching just before the last episode with Artan.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, Artan.
He's gone. Sorry.
Yeah, I love his I love his journey, and I love his his videos are really, really well edited and made. So yeah, and he's a little bit different. He's not. He hasn't come into the industry proclaiming to be some big influencer or whatever. He's just sharing his raw journey, and he's an interesting guy. So yeah, I think when he's back over, we'll get him in the studio.
Well, if he ever comes back.
Yeah, if he ever comes
because
back.
I remember when he first said he was going over, and he was there for 3 months, and he said, I'm going to stay for another 4 weeks. I've got an extension on my lease, and then he's been there a year now. I don't know when he's going to come back. But
I mean, I don't blame him.
No, I don't. Have you seen the food that he's eating every day, and it's costing like next to nothing. He loves it. He's in Bangkok, isn't he? He's in Bangkok. Yeah. But another thing, just what you said on Artan, is that in terms of the influencer stuff, he had a huge following in terms of the music industry. Yeah. He hasn't just used that, changed his name and stuff. He started a whole new platform. Yeah, he started an own channel, and he's doing it from scratch, and I think that's really admirable as well. But what I wanted to talk about today was kind of off the back of that. I want to ask you a few questions on what it takes to be a profitable trader, because when I was trading myself, you get to points, and you can attest to this. You get to a point where you think you're profitable, you get a huge kind of sense of, oh, I've made it, and then it just all goes off a cliff, and it has such a hard knock on your confidence as a trader, on everything in your life. So I wanted to ask you, now we've kind of been going for almost, it's over a year now, we're over a year old. What are the common traits of a profitable trader in the prop world industry? Yeah, so it's really, really interesting, this, because I look at a lot of the profitable traders. I look at the trading history, trading data. You can sort of get a good analysis of like what does make a good profitable trader. And like going back to myself when I was trading, I can now see the key differences why I wasn't profitable. I had payouts, and I'll be honest, now I look back at them payouts, it wasn't really skill. It was probably more a lot of luck in. Really though? Yeah, to an extent. I think looking back how I used to trade as well, if I was doing phase one, I would always start phase one pretty strong, and I would stick to my plan, and I'd stick to how I was going to trade, and I would do well, be profitable. And then I'd get phase two a lot of the time, and I'd lose phase two within a day. And my biggest thing with it was it's like you've done the hard work, and you think, right, I've only got a smaller percent now to do, and I'm going to pass. And then you're like, you have a bad day, you're down, and then you start putting more leverage on, using more margin, your account's going down, and you just, in my head, right, my biggest problem, right, is when I was trading was I was spending the money in my head. Before I'd even got to the 14-day payout. So yeah, I know when I have been profitable, it's because I've been very chilled on that account. And like, well, let's bring it back then. If I had to ask you for three things that makes a profitable trader, what would those three things be? They don't overtrade. So don't overtrade. One. The most common thing I see when I'm looking at a profitable trader, and a profitable trader for me is not just someone that passes phase one, phase two, gets one payout. It's someone who holds on to that account on average for 6-7 payouts, and that is probably less than 2% of people that get to funded. It's a very, very short percentage. So these people all have a common thing. They trade a certain time of the day. They do 1, maybe 2 trades per day, but even less than that. Some of them, they're doing 2-3 trades a week. They're in, they're out, and they forget about that account. If it's won or lost that trade, they're not bothered. So that's the first one. So don't overtrade is the first thing. Overtrading. What's the second one, if I had to ask you? Having a clear structure and plan. Okay, so a trade plan. Trade plan. Yeah. They've obviously back tested. They know, they're confident in that trade they're putting on, and they just execute that. And
the main thing that I think comes along with everything is your psychology.
It's the third thing, psychology.
You can have a perfect plan, and I think a lot of people do have a profitable trading plan, but if your psychology is no way aligned with your trading, you're going to struggle to be profitable. Yeah. And I'm saying this as someone who's trading myself, where you get emotional, you start jumping into trades.
We've talked about this emotional thing before, because we've experienced it firsthand, but the whole thing from start to finish is emotions. Because when you're playing with, for example, money, I know people are paying for challenges. If it was their money, say they had $100,000 account, there's a lot of emotion involved in that. But even on a funded account, you still pay for that account. You might have got through 1, 2, 3 stages. You get to funded. The emotions are running high even before you put a trade on.
Yeah.
So controlling the psychology the emotions, come back to the psychology, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, and we've seen it when we've analysed like data and stuff against like the hedge fund and stuff. Their trade, like your traders you've got, there's everything's calculated, right? And whereas a lot of prop firm traders, they see 1 to 100 leverage, right? And they go, I'm going to go full leverage on that trade.
We've done that. We've done it.
Everyone's done that, right? And yeah, you might get a winner or two, but mostly what's going to happen is you're going to get stopped out.
Yep.
You're going to lose that account, and then you go in and cycling accounts. Yeah, take your time a little bit with your account. Take your time. There's no rush. Warren Buffett isn't doing 8% per day.
No.
Yeah, these big hedge fund traders and funds are not doing 8% every single week. It's very, very small returns. And if you just under leverage what you're doing a little bit, you're going to have more trades that you're going to be able to get like profitable with. So I think it's all about timing. It's all about consistency, having a little bit of belief in what you're doing, but just you've got to respect the charts as well, because they will spit you up and hit you out.
One thing I would say worked for me, it's the only thing it did work when I did it, was create, and it's an ICT thing, you create a trading plan that you can fit on the back of a business card.
Yeah.
Because when I first started creating all these journals and with all the ICT courses, I'd have these trade plans. They were almost a page long. So there was like 15 steps. So check the high time frames and go. It was like step. By the time I've got to like the 7th step, the market's moved, and I'm like, well, okay, so start again.
Yeah.
You need to make it essentially. If I had to give one, I would say, make sure that trade plan is simple.
Yeah.
When I did have a simple trade plan, it worked.
I think for a lot of new traders as well, is there's such an overwhelming amount of like information out there on the markets now, where you've got like obviously my TikTok algorithm is just traders doing this. So you see people winning, you see people in what you're doing. Like, so first thing you start doing is you start joining all these like Discord groups, Telegram groups, and you're seeing people's winners every time they post the winners, but you're not seeing the losers. So you start capping yourself against them, and you're asking yourself why you're not doing that.
That's a really good point.
None of this is real life.
Yeah.
And I think I really think a profitable trader, or to get to that point, you probably need to step away from the whole social media groups. Find a very simple strategy that you know that works, you back tested it, and just start executing that yourself away from people.
Information overload, mate. Yeah. Again, for example, on YouTube, I used to find that I'd watch a video, or even if I was doing the ICT course and I did the mentorship, I'd go and try and go, right, this isn't working. I'm going to try find something else. And I'll watch a video of some other, and fill in the blank trader, and then the video after would be suggested a complete opposite of what I've just been taught. So you're getting contradictory information.
I remember when we first started, and you would send me something and you go, I know how I'm going to get profitable now, and you go, and then I'm buying into it, and that's the same with a lot of traders and stuff. But like, just my analysis of looking across Nostro traders and like 20-30 people getting in payouts daily or getting to payouts, it's just not overtrading. Like, one of the main things they do is not overtrade. I've never really come across people getting payouts who are putting 10, 15 trades on a day.
Well, let on that to jump in there on that point. Obviously, we run an investment fund, and one of our traders that has a really large account with us.
Yeah.
She only trades potentially 1 or 2 times a month.
Yeah.
And she might do 2-3%, maybe 1%, but that's still enough.
Yeah, yeah.
On a large account. If you've got a large funded account, 100, 200,000, whatever, and you're trading doing 1 or 2%, 3%, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of discipline, but that comes back to what you were saying. So let me just recap before we wrap up this episode. First thing is, don't overtrade.
Yeah, no overtrading.
Yeah. The second one was have a trade plan.
Have a trade plan, have a simple strategy of what you do daily.
And the third one was psychology.
Yeah, there's no point trading. There's no point buying accounts unless you have got your psychology right. So, like, a good test of that is putting a trade on, right? Like, if you can do this, I think you're ready. You find a setup. Say you're trading London, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. You find your setup. You put that trade on. See if you can put that trade on with your stop loss, with your TP, and then not look at that. Look at your trading device again until 8 p.m. at night.
No way. I couldn't do that.
and I think if you can start nailing your psychology down like that, where you can walk away, just let your wins run, let your TPs hit, let your stop losses hit, you'll start getting into a better place trading.
There you go. You've got it from the CEO of Nostro. That's basically how you become profitable.
Well, yeah. I wish everyone the best.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you.